Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome to Christian Motherhood Unfiltered. If you are new here, my name is Emma. I am so honored that you are here listening to me app today. And if you're not new here, welcome back. We are going to talk today about all the ways that I treat being a stay-at-home mom like it's a full-time job. I was a full-time teacher before I became a stay-at-home mom. I taught until my daughter was a year and a half old. And that's not a long time, but it's long enough to kind of get my footing a little bit as a working mom. Like I definitely had to figure out balance. I had to deal with like becoming a new mom for the first time while also working like my first big girl job and dropping my kid off with somebody who wasn't me. And there was a lot that went into and was packed into that first year and a half that I worked with her. But I also just feel like because of my personality, I am a very organized person. I'm a structured person. I like consistency. I like routines. And because of that, I struggled a little bit in my transition from being a full-time working mom to just staying home because I didn't really know what to do with myself all day. I didn't have a boss. I didn't have anyone telling me what to do. I didn't have a schedule or a routine. This was all new to me. And for the first time in my whole life, like everything was 100% up to me. What my day looked like was up to me. And it is not like that in most jobs. And so I kind of struggled with that freedom, to be honest. And there was no predictability, there was no structure, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of people and a lot of stay-at-home moms actually really thrive because of that. Like, I think that's one of the biggest bonuses for certain people when they stay home with their kids. But for me personally, I do not thrive under that. I just know my personality. I know myself very well that I need some kind of routine. I need something to hold me accountable or I will not do a thing. Like if I wake up with nothing on the agenda, my butt is on the couch. Like I will not do a thing because that's just how I work. And so I have found over the last couple of years of staying home that if I treat staying home like a full-time job in a lot of these ways that I'm going to share with you today, it really helps me to, one, get more done and be more productive. A lot of these things are things that help me kind of stay on top of housework, stay productive. But even more than that, I feel like it helps me enjoy my days more because I know what to expect. I have a plan. I'm not just like waking up with no clue what the day is going to bring. In some sense, I am because it's kids and kids are out of your control. But some of it is in my control. And so I just wanted to share 10 small things that I do in my day-to-day life that help me enjoy being a stay-at-home mom when I am somebody that thrived working full time and thrived on routine and productivity, and just that's my personality. These are just some things that have helped me, and take everything with a grain of salt because again, we are all different. We are all different stay-at-home moms, and some of you may not relate to this and some of you may need even more structure than I do. Let's just jump right in. I have 10 ways that I treat being a stay-at-home mom like it's a full-time job because here's the thing, it is a full-time job. Okay, that's like the first like mindset shift. I did not realize taking care of children is literally a full-time job. Number one is to get ready for the day. I've said this over and over again, so I'm not going to like beat a dead horse, but you would not wake up in the morning. I'm going to use teaching as my example because that's the only full-time real adult job I ever had. But I would not wake up for the day in my classroom, in my jammies, and then teach my like students in my pajamas without doing my makeup or my skincare routine or like anything for myself. I wake up and I had my morning routine and I got myself ready. I had my morning commute, and this really helped me prepare. And I am a firm believer in if you look good, you feel good, and then you do good. A lot of my confidence and like productivity is around the way that I feel and the way that I look, not in a vanity way or like I need to always look perfect and put together, but I am just so easily motivated by just the way that I look. Like if I feel like I look put together and I like the outfit that I'm wearing and I'm having a good hair day, or like I just took 10 minutes to get myself ready, I feel so much better, so much more productive, and I'm more confident. And then I'm able to handle and tackle my day with that confidence under my belt, and like I have already done something for myself that day. So I said I wasn't going to beat a dead horse, and I'm kind of beating a dead horse. So let's move on to point 2, but get yourself ready for the day just like you would at a full-time job. Number 2 is something that I have started implementing kind of recently, and it is to take a lunch break. I don't know about you, but my lunchtime is so chaotic. We're all hangry. We probably just got home from some kind of outing or play date or activity. We are hangry, we are tired, and we're just over it, and they want food in front of them right this second. I don't know, I think back to my working days and my lunch breaks. Although as a teacher, my golly, if you are a teacher or were a teacher, you know, lunch breaks are like 15-20 minutes max, and they are not necessarily peaceful or relaxing either. But I've started implementing a lunch break, so to speak, and when I get my kids down for a nap, or at least like how I do it is I kind of put Jordan down a little bit earlier, like when Hallie goes down, so I get a longer stretch of time. First part of her rest is quiet time, and then the last part is a nap, so that I can get a little bit more time, and she gets a little playtime too before she naps. That's like my lunch break, and so I will put on a show. I will make myself some food. I've usually had like something when they eat lunch. I can't just like not eat until 1:30 because I will probably pass out or something. Like I need food, but I've saved a little treat, a little snack. Or sometimes I just am, it's busy and I don't have time to eat lunch and it's just too chaotic. And so I will wait and I will sit down just for 20 minutes of their nap, and I will have a snack and I will watch a show or read or just scroll on TikTok sometimes and just take a minute and treat this as my lunch break. It's nothing crazy. I don't sit on the couch for 3 hours, which if I did, that's fine too. But I'm just saying, even just 20 minutes of like eating uninterrupted, just like having that space to feel like a real human and not like I'm scarfing my food down as fast as possible while also trying to make them happy while also having 3 different conversations at the same time. Like it's just my me time, and it's been really helpful. And then I will usually like get up after that 20 minutes and start being productive or get some work done or clean or film or whatever I need to do. But that little lunch break has been very helpful and just a nice midday reset to kind of propel me into the rest of our day. Number 3 is something I do to prepare for the week, and I like to plan a weekly routine, and I kind of treat my week like it's a work schedule. I have very predictable days of things that we do, certain activities. I have a cleaning schedule, and I will sit down with my week overview planner spread and I will look at our week every Sunday. I will write down our play dates that I already have scheduled. I'll write down appointments or things that I know we have to do. I will also write down like work deadlines or anything like that. And then I will write down fun things that I want to do. If the weather is going to be nice, I will write down like I want to go to the park and the zoo this week, or I want to hang out with this friend and this friend this week. And it's just mindfully preparing for the week. And again, I just do not thrive when I have nothing on the agenda, and usually things fill it up. Like friends will text me last minute or something, and that's great. But it is also just really nice to just have some kind of like weekly plan and overview that I can look forward to. And it also just helps me feel less overwhelmed. Like I can enjoy things more because I kind of know what to expect. That is just my personality. That's not going to be everybody, but it is very helpful for me. Number 4 is meal planning, especially for dinners. I don't usually meal plan for lunches. We usually just have leftovers, or I will buy certain things that we make for lunch. But for dinners, there's always a plan for dinner. And I think in the beginning, I thought like, oh, I have all day to like think about what I want to make for dinner and plan it and prepare it. And I learned very quickly that that is just not reality. My mind is just always on 100 different things at once. And I very often will get to 4 p.m. and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what I'm going to make for dinner. And I should have started this like hours ago, or at least thought about it, because I could have put something in the crock pot, or I am missing 4 ingredients. I could have gone to the store this morning. So we meal plan and we don't do anything crazy, but it's just helpful again to know what to expect from your week. So we have like a little magnet week overview on our fridge, and we will just write the same several meals. We keep it so simple, but then I know, and I have it on the front of my fridge because I'm so forgetful. If you watch my vlogs on YouTube, then you've seen me forget at the end of the day, like, oh, I was supposed to cook this crock pot meal 6 hours ago and it is now dinner time and now our food is frozen and I have no clue what I'm going to make. Like that is a very normal occurrence for me. So I've put this magnet schedule like on the front of our fridge and I'm looking at it all day long and it's just reminding me all day like, hey, this is what you're making for dinner. Don't forget this is what you're making. And so it's helpful if I need to put something in the crock pot in the morning or if I need to use my nap time to trim the chicken or like prepare the vegetables or whatever, I will do that. That way, when it's 4 o'clock and my girls are losing their marbles and we're waiting for my husband to get home, I'm not also trying to think and plan like, what am I even cooking? It's either prepped for me or I already know what I'm going to make. And so it's pretty simple to do. Okay, number 5 is to time block my daily schedule. Again, same thing with like working full time teaching. I wouldn't just show up to my teaching job with zero clue what I'm doing that day. You kind of have a daily schedule. You have recess at this time, you're teaching reading at this time, you are having lunch at this time. And I kind of do the same for my day to day with my girls. Again, I'm not actually like sitting down writing down every hour and every minute of our day, but I do in my head have a pretty predictable schedule that we follow just naturally. And so it's helpful for me to, again, plan my weeks, but plan my days. And it helps me to get things done because I am thinking in time blocks and in that schedule that I've kind of made up in my own head that doesn't actually exist and like is so ever changing. But in my head, I know that like this block of time is our preschool block of time and this block of time is our outing and this is my work block and whatever it might be. It's just helpful for me. I talked about this in, I think it was my balance podcast episode that I'll link. And I kind of went more into depth on this, but it is so helpful for me to not feel as overwhelmed with the things I want to do because I am thinking in blocks of time throughout my day. And I just kind of interchange like what I'm doing, but the time blocks are pretty similar. So if you're curious more about that, I talk about like what those are specifically in that episode. Number 6 is delegating and asking for help. At your job, you are not expected to do literally everything all the time. And the same goes for at home. Even if you are the full-time at-home parent and you have another parent that works full-time, it is okay to ask for help from them or other people. Ask for help from your friends. Ask for help from your parents. Find a sitter. Like there are a lot of resources and asking for help is very normal in a job. And like delegating tasks and activities at a job is pretty common. But at home, sometimes I feel like I am required to do everything because I'm the stay-at-home mom. And that just puts a lot of unnecessary pressure on yourself to do it all and to carry it all. And that's impossible. So delegate your workload and ask for help when you need it. Okay, number 7 is to set boundaries around distraction. And I have a whole episode on phone addiction and using my phone as a distraction, and especially as a mom. But I think if you like put it into perspective of a job, if you are a teacher or an office worker or a nurse or whatever it might be, you cannot just like sit at your desk all day and scroll on TikTok. That is going to get you fired. And you are also not going to be very good at your job because you're not paying attention. You're not getting anything done. And you're probably going to get written up. And if I put it into that perspective at home, I feel like it helps me kind of snap back into reality that like this is my full-time job and I deserve to, or my kids deserve to have a present mom that's not just on her phone all the time and distracted all the time. There are a lot of things I have to do on my phone and I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole because again, I have a whole episode about phones, but just when you use that analogy of somebody that works a full-time job out of the home, you would not be very good at your job if you were on your phone the whole day. And I think the same is true for stay-at-home moms. Okay, number 7 is something that we do kind of as a family every evening, especially like work days when my husband is gone specifically, is we have kind of like an evening family time every night. And I actually didn't even realize we did this until I was like coming up with this list and trying to relate it to working a full-time job, and I realized that this is something we've been implementing for quite a while. From dinner when my husband gets home from his job until my kids go to bed, that is like our blocked off family time every day. Kind of like clock out. We are very limited on our phones, if at all. We usually are putting our phones somewhere away, both of us. We aren't really getting any work done. Like Michael is done working for the day. I am done working for the day. We don't really do any chores other than like cleaning up dinner. That's it. We are just very present with our kids. We're not turning the TV on. We are not overfilling our schedule. It's actually pretty rare that we do things on weeknights with anybody. And that's because this time is like our family unit time. We are just very involved, engaged. We're going for walks after dinner. We are playing in the basement together. We are playing outside. We are coloring. We are doing whatever the kids want to do. And we're just being present. Michael and I are catching up on our days. The kids are getting to hang out with him. And it's just kind of nice to keep that routine and keep that boundary around our family time every single evening. And then number 10 is kind of silly, but taking PTO to avoid burnout. It is okay to need to take a day off. In a full-time job, it is completely acceptable to take PTO and take a self-care day, have a rest day, have a sick day. And when you're a mom who stays home with their kids, I mean, moms in general, we don't ever get time off, but especially if you're a stay-at-home mom and you are in the thick of it right now, like you really don't get any time off. You don't get sick days, you don't get PTO. And so I've started like scheduling PTO is kind of how I view it and like justify it. Not that it needs justified, but it helps my brain wrap around it and not feel guilty about it because I'm allowed to want a couple of hours to go run errands by myself. I am allowed to go have dinner with a friend. I'm allowed to have a girls' night or have a morning where I get to just deep clean the house in silence or get work done or whatever it might be without making myself feel guilty for it, because I wouldn't feel guilty if I took PTO from my job. I would know that it was necessary for whatever I needed to do. And I think the same is true with being a stay-at-home mom. You have to eliminate this like mom guilt, mom shame that you need a break, because it's okay to need a break. It's okay to ask if your kids can go to their grandparents for a few hours so that you can have coffee with a friend or so you can just sit in silence. Like it is okay to just need a self-care morning or a day to get things done. It is okay to take PTO, even though that's like so cheesy. I think it helps me like rationalize it a little bit that like it's normal and it's okay. I would love to know if you guys do any of these in your daily and weekly routines, if you are a stay-at-home mom, or if you have other ways that you feel like you kind of relate this to a full-time job. Let me know. Also, let me know if you have ever like been a working mom and transitioned to being a stay-at-home mom, what that transition was like for you. Or have you just been a stay-at-home mom from the get-go and you got to quit your job? Let me know if you're going to try any of these tips out. They've actually truly been so helpful for me. Again, they're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and some of you might think that this is like a little bit much over the top, but that is just how my brain works. I love being productive and having a routine. That's just who I am. And so kind of treating this like a job has been very helpful for my mental health and my day-to-day life. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I also don't think there's anything wrong with just like waking up and seeing what happens throughout your day with zero schedule and zero plan. That's great. I love that for you. Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give me a rating and a review and follow the podcast wherever you are listening. Leave me a comment, all the things. It is really, truly so helpful for my podcast when you engage in some way, whether you are sharing it with a friend or posting on your stories or following and commenting and rating. It is all truly so helpful. If you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and you didn't know, I also have this on YouTube. So if you love to watch your podcasts, you can do that there. It is Emma Grace Jens, just like it's Emma Grace Jens on Instagram and TikTok. And I think that's all the shameless self-plugging that I need to do. Thank you guys so much for being here and for listening. And I will catch you guys next week. Bye, friends.